Alright. It is Dark in the bottom left side of the map, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming up against Liquid Clem in the top right. It's the winners match of Group B. Both players have cleaved through their opposition like a knife through hot butter. And I was saying just before this series that there is a big problem for Clem going into this, and something where Dark, even though Clem's a beast in the matchup, doesn't need to worry. Not only did Dark defeat him yesterday in the Champions Cup, but also Clem doesn't know how to do anything that doesn't involve a third command center before 3 minutes. He doesn't know how to proxy barracks. He doesn't know how to... I cursed it, guys. I'm a caster. I said this just before we loaded into the map, that Clem never proxy raxes. All the top Terrans do it. You've got to do it to make the Zergs actually worried. You know, you've got to freak him out. Now, what's interesting about this is that Clem, I think he is just doing the Reaper build. I think this is 2 racks Reaper. I don't think it's a Marine rush. So even when Clem does proxy racks, it's not going to be like the proxy racks Marine bunker. It's going to be a double racks Reaper rush. But Dark has no idea it's coming. So we'll see how it goes. It's inside out. This is the map pick for him. And because Dark lost the coin flip, he does actually end up, we're playing Central, then West, then Central in this best of 3 series. He's going to try and build a bunker up here on the high ground as a fallback point, is Clem, to try and really cement the aggression. Dark doesn't seem to have any idea what's going on. We're on Dark's vision. He's coming in. He's going to realize in a moment when he sees no barracks there, and he's like, oh. So Dark's like, okay, all right. Is this CC first? No, it's not. Oh, God. What's happening? Oh, God. And he seems to be hiding his overlords. He sees the bunker now in his main, and he's like, wait, what the hell? He's building a spine crawler because he realizes he can't guarantee that SCV will go down. I think with the Queen running forward, the bunker shouldn't be able to finish, but this is part of what this is about. The SCV is mainly just there to try and bait kind of drones and lings out there onto the edge. And you can see, let's go back to everyone's camera, the SCV trying to finish it. It's not going to be able to. It's hiding off creep. But if the Queen runs too far off creep to catch it, then the Reapers might get an opportunity to do some damage. 2 Lings do manage to finish the SCV. Dark, notice he didn't inject. He'd like to spread creep, he'd like to transfuse, all that sort of stuff. The Reapers going to be putting the pressure on very early. The problem for him is that Ling speed is very much on time. Dark did not delay his Ling speed very much this game, and that bodes very well for him. Clem not able to really do much direct damage. It's more about the indirect damage. You forced him to stop at 19 drones and mass Zerglings. That's awesome, but Ling speed is here. Oh my God, this is such a quick Ling speed. Dark's build order is actually so good versus this. The quick gas pool, man. Dude, it's such a fast Ling speed from Dark. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, guys. Hatch gas pool gets Ling speed at 3 minutes 25 at the earliest. This kicked in at 3 minutes and 5 seconds. And that's a slaughter. Getting these Reapers down. I mean, if you just run home with the Reapers, it's not the end of the world. But losing so many of them, you lose map control. You got nothing behind your wall, so you have to pull SCVs. This is an absolute disaster for Clem. And this is something where Dark is so good at reading his opponents and mixing his builds up to make things difficult for them. SCVs being pulled, remember, as well. Oh, Clem! He's not repairing the wall on the right side. With the burning as well, you need to get a second SCV on that. Oh my Lord, Clem leaves that to the very last second. Dangerous. Zergling's just posturing there. Now, it's not like the work account's very good for Dark. Remember, he does not have a third hatchery, but there's a reason why. And that is because he's a roach boy. Notice that little head in there, guys? That there is actually a little mommet. That little mommet is actually being possessed by Dark. Notice how it's poking its little roachy head out? Guess what? He's a roach boy, and he likes to kill. He did some 1-1 roach timings to kill Clem. He nidused him a couple of times on the weekend. And look at this. The moment Clem tries to move out, Dark backstabs. This has always been his playbook against Clem. Do not let Clem get aggressive. Get in his face. You be the one dictating where and when the fighting happens, and you absolutely mess with your opponent. Notice how Clem's going for a Hellion drop. He's trying to build Metavax Hellions. None of this is going to help him against those roaches. SCVs taking so many losses. Oh no, 8 SCVs going down. Dark also distracting. So Clem's first warning of these roaches is only here at the 5-minute mark. Dark is once again on a tear. He's only on 24 drones. It's a very aggressive attack. Clem needs to pull back. Pull back, Clem! He's using some grenades out there. Very forward position, but with the Ravagers coming, he's got to pull up that ramp right now. The problem is the Ravager Cocoon Micro. He can just heal all this damage right up, and you've got no tank. You've got nothing here to stabilize. The barracks are still pumping Reapers on the other side of the map. But look at this. The Hellions and the Reapers are taking big damage, even with an SCV surround. The Biles on the depot forcing him back, which means the SCVs that were up front were left to fight their own devices. And Dark is speedrunning this group so far. He is like, lol, I beat Ragnarok in about 10 minutes. And in 5.5 minutes, I'm halfway to getting a 2-0 over Clem. He is just devastatingly confident today. All right, well, going into map 2, we've already got people in chat saying, y'all act like you don't remember world champion undefeated Dark. You fools! How could you forget? Well, he's not going to let us forget. He smashed Valencia. He's been beating Maru a fair few times this year, but not just him. He's been taking down the best Zergs, the best Terrans, the best Protosses. Will this young man be able to stabilize? I mean, I honestly feel that if you put Clem in a straight-up mechanical war in the mid-game with any Zerg, he will outplay them. This is Team Liquid's Clem up against Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Dark. The problem for Clem has always been and will always be that Dark is the player who ended his untouchable streak. Clem had something like, I can't remember the exact number, so obviously I'm sure someone can correct me in the comments, but I think it was like 46-0 in Terran vs Zerg, best of 3 series or greater, right? So best of 3s, best of 5s, best of 7s. He'd won like 43 tournament series in a row. It was an insane streak. And then he played Dark, and Dark was like, hey, every time you move out, I backstab you with Lings. And then the next time you move out, Banelings and Lings. And the next time, Lings and Banelings hitting 2 bases at once. And then the next time, I'll distract you with some Zerglings while Banelings roll into your army and kill all your Marines. And it was like, oh, Clem can't do anything. He looks outclassed even. And you're like, oh. So the analogy that I always give is it's a fighter who is amazing on the offense as Clem, but because he was so good at the offense and so good at putting his opponent on the defense, that there were these little openings where a player who was very patient with those counter strikes, waited for Clem to move out and then struck, was able to put him on the back foot and then catch him off with the next counter and the next counter and the next counter. And Dark does that very, very well. Now, obviously, that game 1 in this series was a fantastic build choice. I think maybe he had an inkling that Clem wanted to do that strategy. Going for the quick gas pool gets you that defense so darned quickly, and getting the Reapers surrounded was just a massive shutdown on the build that Clem was going for. So felt like Clem didn't quite realize that Ling speed was on the way as early as it was, and needed to basically pull on back to a more defensible position much earlier. Once you get some Hellions with the Reapers, you could start roaming again, but not before that. Quick third hatchery goes down. Clem unable to block that. We'll continue on in towards the natural. This is a very big map, and remember, we are on US West, so that is, of course, the preference for Dark. This is his one map where he gets his server preference. There's one thing going for Clem. Ooh. Nice micro by Dark. Doesn't lose anything. Good push back. Already injected the main. Tumor on the natural will go down as well. And third command center. Clem back to what he loves. Now, the scary thing for Clem is, of course, you know what he hears in his dreams last night, right? He said he didn't get that much sleep last night. He obviously had a pretty intense night playing in a big tournament, getting eliminated by Dark in the semis. And you know what he heard in his dreams? I can't do a Nidus Worm sound, guys, but you guys, you know the sound. You can play it in your heads. The screech of Niduses were no doubt in his nightmares. And the reason is he's very good at 3cc openings. He likes playing greedy. Give him up to the 6-minute mark, 7-minute mark, he'll take over with Bio Mine. But pop a Nidus at 5 minutes, 6 minutes, he might just die. So Clem's going to be a bit more paranoid about that. He's going to be more active scouting, looking for the pickoffs. Not able to slow down the tumors just yet. Queens are building 2 at a time. He's going to be, of course, saturating the third. Is he back on gas yet? Not yet. 3 minutes 40. And he still hasn't rallied back to gas. So it looks like Dark's playing just a super economic style. Really wants to hit that greed as much as possible. And interesting, he's rallied back to his main. So it looks like he will be putting on gas right here just before the 4-minute mark. Clem, on the other hand, is building a safety Banshee. Going to get those units out with Cloak as well for a bit of more damage output. Mutas are something which we've seen occasionally pop back into the meta, but I don't really imagine it'll be something Dark focuses on in this game. Looks like I would expect double Evo to go down pretty shortly and a second gas. I feel like after Dark kills someone really early, he likes to play greedy and just go very quick double upgrades. So if he can survive the early game, then he'll have a really good bump up. But no, he's going Baneley Nest, so expect the lair to start up the moment he has 100 gas. Because he's put back on gas so late, he won't have the fastest Baneling speed, but it'll still be very quick to shut down any early Marine pushes or anything like that. Dark scouting saw how slow the depot was on the natural, so he should already know from the Hellion timing and the delayed depot starting that this is a 3cc opening. I don't know if that depot is flush against the wall on either side. And I don't know why Clem is leaving tiny openings on the side of his walls, or maybe that is closed and I've got vision problems as a geriatric gamer. You guys let me know in the chat. I really feel that's open on both sides, but I could be wrong. Ling runs in, confirms it's a bio play, sees the cloak upgrading as well, so he knows for sure. Definitely build those spores, which he's already delayed this spore to very late, 5 minutes 20. Damn. 61 drones, 4th hatchery on the way, just past 5 minutes. Clem is now building 5 marines. The banshees haven't moved out at all, though. Clem, interesting that he's really dallying with those. 1-1 upgrades are on the way very quickly for Dark. So he's going to go... Yeah, that's actually still very well-timed 1-1. Already getting macro hatch... Oh my god, Dark is disgusting. The speed at which he starts building hatcheries and macro hatcheries. Like, if he has a smooth opening, it's very scary. Raynor and Dark are 2 Zergs. Well, like, you give Serral a bit of extra room. You play a bit more defensively. And I feel Serral's always going to play careful. And you don't really get punished. You play against Raynor or Dark and they're like... Oh, you're not pressuring me right now? 15 more drones, 4 more hatcheries. Let's go, bro. And you're like, oh, why are there 4,000 banelings by the 10-minute mark? Oh, Banshee barely gets out of there. But really, no real damage to be spoken of. As long as Clem doesn't throw the units away, it's not the end of the world. He's played a 3cc opening. It's okay to be like that. But by golly, that's a quick infestation. Now, I would imagine it's for lurkers. He's already got the 2nd macro hatch. For those who don't know, you don't actually need 2 macro hatcheries. Just 1 will do in this scenario. But Dark is famous for not injecting very frequently. Notice his main doesn't have a queen in it because he likes to put all of his queens on 1 control group. He'll bring them to the front to fight. And then if there's a moment in the fighting, he'll tell them to go queue up injects. And he'll bring them back to the front. The Europeans get quite critical of this because technically it's not perfect play. The thing that they forget sometimes is that you don't need to be technically perfect if you've got amazing game sense, gigantic biceps, and the micro of the gods. Dark will be a little less efficient on his setup, a little less perfect, and then he'll just kill you in the late game anyway with amazing game sense. And it's like his build order is slightly less efficient, but his fluidity in play, his ability to just sense what'll work in the heat of the moment is second to none. But the Biomine Parade push is starting. We've got a 2nd factory, a 4th command center. This may have been a slow build-up phase, which Clem obviously enjoys, but he is now finally going to start pushing with the Biomine. Hive is on the way, no Hydroden, which tells us that Dark should be playing Ultras, but much like Raynor, it doesn't mean that because he doesn't follow the same logic as the rest of us. The Widow Mine doesn't really hit too much. The Overseer does get taken out. The Lings and the Banes do force the Marine pickups. I like that the Hellbats actually just run away here. Marines are going to drop over there. He's going to try and counterattack. There's a tank, another tank, and 2 Banshees. And keeping these Banshees alive all game is going to be a great way of deterring these counterattacks. Even gets a few of those units out there. There's no Overseer on the map right now, which is a bit of a mistake. That Widowmine could fire again. Oh, Queen's in the open. Dark with a little bit of a slip up here. But no, he's quick enough to respond. A bit of a slip up equals trading 2 Hellbats for a Queen, which he's perfectly fine with. 8 Queens, every single one of which is on the front. The more you maintain the pressure, the more injects that Dark misses. But will it matter? I mean, well, it means he has no anti-air in his main other than spores. So that Marine drop can distract him. Clem trying to take a 4th base. Keep in mind the 75 workers mining. This is not the Raynor economy of 90 drones. Dark would rather have a larger standing army, but that means if you lose a fight or you get out of position, he's going to smash 50,000 Banelings in and kill you, and he's already planning it. He already wants to deny this 4th base. Clem, he should notice that giant army cascading into the north of the map. That planetary has not erected itself just yet. Remember, guys, planetaries take a while to get it up. Clem has got to hold his ground. Oh my god! Lings and Banes coming in from all sides. The command center lifts. The SCVs are trying to run. The Banelings need to get focused down. If these SCVs get caught up in the Banelings change directions, it is an absolute cascade of Zerg into Clem's base. He's pulling SCVs to the front. The Banelings get F2'd home. The Marines in the south side have won a fight. Clem is taking catastrophic SCV damage though. He wants to be the aggressor. Dark says no. If you want to be aggressive, you're going to take big damage, but the Marines do deny a base and a mineral line on another base. 38 SCVs have gone down though. Dark should be able to bounce back from this damage a little bit better than Clem. Clem's units require attention and micro to do their best. Ling Bane might not be amazing when it's not actively controlled, but it does better. You basically say go and fight, and they will bite, they will stab, they will get up in there like a bunch of angry boys in the prison yard. They know how to get shanking. Marines, Marauders, Mines, Tanks, they need to really be positioned just right because they're glass cannon units. And that's what I'm talking about. Burrowed Lings popping in and out everywhere. And now Clem finds himself way behind on the economy. However, the supply is still close enough that this is potentially a situation which he could salvage. I say potentially because a lot of his supply is in medevacs, which they don't really have any Marines to heal. He is rebuilding his SCVs. Remember, this base lost a lot of mining. This base got killed. Dark's army's pretty darn small right now, but he's starting 3-3, and now he's going Hydras and Viper. Why is he going Hydra Viper? That's interesting. He's got an Ultra Cavern, but he's decided getting some anti-air might be more important to get rid of these drops. Looks like a Widowmine came in and got a few more of those drones. Not bad, not bad. So we got 6 kills. Did save this Widowmine that got 4 of them. That Widowmine does go down. Clem's got +3 attack on the way, so he's not too far behind on the upgrades, but he's still on a mostly Marine mine army, which scales rather terribly versus Ultras. It'll do okay versus Hydraling Bane. Clem is right now up 12 army supply. That's a pretty standard army lead, because remember, Terran has to, slowly rally across the map, whereas Dark is able to gather his forces together. Now, the Vipers are not the game changer they are against siege tanks. They can basically parasitic bomb the medevacs, and they can't do too much else. Clem, you do not want to be this far on creep, mate. Oof. I mean, it's good that he's pushing the creep back and creating a push path for the future, but he's got to be so careful with the abducts. He can't pick up. Oh no! The parasitic bombs are big, but you know what? Abducts would have been way better. If he abducted the full medevacs, that would have been a clutch play, because Clem's able to save most of the Marines, and that is absolutely vital. The supply is very even. He's only down 5 workers. If Clem can stop Dark from doing another one of those big backstabs, he should be good at it. I mean, he's got Widowmine Planetary in the north. Southside still has the 2 Banshees and the tank with 37 kills on the high ground. Sergeant Chadhammer, hello. My God. Polish that Arclight cannon. It deserves it. There's a lot of scratches on the side of that siege tank marking every single confirmed kill. They've got Burrowed Banelings in potentially the most random area of this map, but it's also the area you'd least expect it. Dark's like, hey, I bet he pushes this angle again. 4 Burrowed Banelings. Bit of a gamble. Could pay off, though. 8 Marines in the north of the map. A medevac slowly going to join them. These medevacs very damaged. A prime target for more parasitic bombs. We've got Marauders coming in now, 4 at a time, with those lots of... How many barracks is that? Okay, yeah, just the 7 or 8 barracks. So 4 tech labs, 4 Marauders at a time. 4 Dropper Lords! Dark, you savage! Nobody does this, guys. This costs nothing. It is so cheap to drop Zerglings, but if they get in a base, especially if your opponent's maxed and doesn't have units popping out when their army's on the map, you can tear their production down, and if you lose all these lings, you do not care. That's a couple hundred minerals. It's so cheap, and people do not do this enough. It works so well in just about every matchup, and that was out of the Watchtower vision for those who don't know. Clem does not know about that. Those guys are going to go in the main, and that's going to cause him a lot of trouble. He's got 1 tank, and he doesn't have much else. 6... Oh, Widowmine drop coming in. Sorry, guys. 6 drones do go down. I'm Pig the man who misses every Widowmine drop. The Baneling's not quite able to detonate. Widowmine does get a few kills there. Ling drop's waiting on the edge. Oh, he goes in vision. That's a bit of a mistake. And a few Marines and Marauders are nearby. Clem is going to have to F2 home right now. Look at this. Dark is trying to run forward at the front. He's going to try and pounce on the 3rd at the same time. The mass Ling drop in the main going to cause the army to F2 home. And that means this base could be vulnerable. But, oh, Blinding Cloud. Nice Blinding Cloud. Parasitic Bomb. Good spready there from young Clem. Oh, another Blinding Cloud allowing the Baneling to get close. I can't let you get close. But you know what? Clem manages to hold him back for now, showing that he was, of course, raised on the internet. He's heard, he's learnt the lessons of Chael Sonnen. He knows the Marines are going to come forward. There's not many Banes in there, but there's too many Hydras right now. The Hydras don't have muscular augments. These are the very, very slow Hydras. They forgot to bring their shoes. He realizes that and starts the upgrade. The Marines getting a nice little trade there. Clem is back in this game despite a messy start. He says, you might have made the game messy, but you know I'm better than you in a standard game. And that is 100% the way Clem plays every ZVT. This is me 100% putting words in his mouth, but they are justified words. Anyone who's watched a lot of Clem knows that's what he thinks. He wants to just outplay you in the late mid game with constant bio parades. But you can see that Dark has put a bit of fear in him. He's more cautious with his army movements. And I do wonder what happens if Lurkers come out. Another hatch cancel on the bottom. These Banelings are still so thirsty, man. They are so thirsty. The Banshees are going to cancel another hatchery. Dark's not able to get his economy up right now. Oh, man, these Banelings. These Banelings. Oh, oh, look at this. Dark's like, run away! Run away, idiot! But no, he gets him to pick up, and he's like, seriously? Can you please just back off? Walk over these Banelings, please. I want to go to Dark's camera. I want to see how much he's staring at them. He's unburrowed 2 of the Banelings, and he's spread them further back in case. But I think he did that in Watchtower vision. Dark's checking it. He's grabbing energy. He's ready for the push in the middle on the bottom right. On the bottom right, is he going to miss it? Okay, go back to everyone's camera. There's too much to watch. We can't watch this from one player's camera. It's too hectic. These banelings are ready. The army there clearing creep. There's great creep, a bit of a nubbin on the left side of the map, pushing Clem back towards his bases. Clem's going to try and expand to this right base. There's no way he could ever defend that. He should focus on the top left and cement that position. One of the biggest mistakes you can make in late game TvZ is trying to expand to both corners of the map at once, because that basically gives your Zerg opponent a chance of distant targets to try and isolate and focus on. Man, this army on the watchtower is still just chilling. These Widow Mines, where are the Overseers? He's only got one Overseer. This has got to be a mistake for Dark. I mean, we can't call that anything but a mistake. He's got to fix that. He's making 3 more Overseers now. He's going to fix that a little bit. Nidus in the back door, Clem. We're on Clem's camera. He's building barracks. He's not looking. He sees it, but he doesn't have anything nearby. He doesn't have anything nearby. Oh! You know what? There's no lurkers on the map. I may be screaming for no reason. There's no lurkers on the map, guys. It's just Zerglings. Okay, it's fine. it's not the rogue Nidus where 12 lurkers pop out. But wait, it was a distraction. Ooh, Widowmine Planetary can only defend so much. That is very exposed. And guess what? The Marines ran right over the Banelings. Clem realizes, okay, I might lose the top control, but I will damage you in the bottom. He loses 18 SCVs and a planetary, but he lifts off at least one of those command centers. He's going to kill the hatchery down there. 2 of these command centers getting bruised, but it looks like they will survive. And that's very important, because remember, guys, Dark cannot expand. This hatchery here doesn't even have workers on it yet. Dark has been unable to get map control. He's going into ultra production. The Marines in the bottom right are going to go down. He saves 8 of them for now. Well done. Nidus in the back door gets shut down. Siege Tank says, get out of here. I think that might be Chadhammer. She repositioned herself and she's gunning down the Nidus. Army in the top cannot afford to get surrounded. Remember, Dark still has a gigantic army. Parasitic Bomb says, get out of here. Takes out one of those medevacs. Another one very close to going down. More SCVs will fall. Where does this army unload? Another full medevac gets popped. The Parasitic Bomb getting value and more command centers just before they finish going down. Clem unable to get established and his supply is wounded. Dark's economy is so trash for this stage in the game. But you look at his opponents and you go, oh, his is even worse. This is what Dark does. You're like, oh man, really 17 minutes? You can't even get a 6th base mining at all? That sucks. Then you look at Clem, who's like just lost all of his command centers right before they finished. Just before he finished them. Dude, oh, it's so bad, man. Those tanks are going to clean that up. But yeah, Clem, like I said, I think he needs to focus on this side and really take this side and deny it. There's lots of Widow Mines spread across this bottom right, which does make it hard for Dark to counterattack there. Another Nidus in the main. He's trying to put it on the siege. Dark! Relentless. He's going to now put one in the back. Let's hope Clem doesn't let his guard down. The Ling Spready comes forward to absorb the front Widow Mines. Watching for another Nidus in the back of the natural real soon. Oh, that's a huge army. Clem doesn't have any wall, no numbers, no wall, no Widow Mines. Ling Bane Ultra YOLO! The snipes pop off on one of the Ultras. 2 of them go down. But that is a lot of Ling Bane Hydra. The planetary barely finishes in time. Building armor's finished, so he has 5 armor on that planetary. And you know what? Dark F2'd, so he accidentally pulled the Overseer from the natural over, which means no sneaky backdoor Nidus. That fight was really good for Clem. I normally check in on the units lost tab more. It's very close between the two. Neither side with a fantastic economy. Remember, the power of mules could prevail in the long run. He has 7 orbitals. So Clem, as long as it's close in supplies, it's very bad for Dark. And even though the supply looked really good for Clem, and that fight looked like it could have been good, it was all too much coming from one angle. Clem barely hung on, won that fight, and if he denies this base, Dark is dead in the water. His economy is already so low. These units are not very healthy. The Ling Bane could get a good fight here. This is a planetary backing it up, and look at the Reinforcer bio coming in. There's only 2 medevacs here. Man, the Parasitic Bombs really paid dividends. That orbital could go down, but anytime you hang on the edge of vision, snipe on the Viper goes down. That's where the juicy hits come. Now, if Dark wants to venture to the right side of the map, there's a lot of Widow Mines over there. Remember, there's still heaps of Widow Mines peppered over. The Burrowed Banelings still thirsty as heck. They've been in the desert for years. At this point, they've got hallucinations of oases and beautiful women with seashells on their titties and stuff. Like they are just like, please, please, Marines, walk over us. And remember, it did happen earlier, but Dark was distracted. He was distracted. He's now got his economy very isolated in the top left of the map, does Dark. It's very dangerous up there. It's really hard for him to protect it. And you can see these Widow Mines being such a nuisance for him. He's only got 1 Overseer again. He's lost so many Overseers this game. What is it, like 9 Overseers have gone down. Oh, the Widow Mine's going to fire again. Oh, another couple of kills go down and losing the base in the top left. Nidus Worm in the back door though. He says, guess what? You might be winning the front, but I'm gonna Nidus Zergling you again. No, he doesn't have anything in the Nidus. He wasn't even expecting it to work. Okay, he's got to put some units in there. Get inside, climb in the Sphincter. In the Sphincter, out the Sphincter they go, but the tanks have already sieged up. They might be able to deal with this. Ooh, the Lings are on top of him. Get the Nidus, finish it off. He does finish the Nidus, and it looks like not even one tank goes down. Clem getting some disgusting efficiency from 4,000 resources ahead to, well, it looks like his units lost number isn't changing, while Dark's is getting massive, and that is not good. The one thing you don't want to be gigantic in StarCraft is your units lost tab. The Zerglings taking those Widow Mines. Good spready so far. Good. This is a good attack. Oh, that Widow Mine got about 20 Lings. Oh, nice attack. So Clem splits some army off. He brings everything else back to the natural. And attacking into the production of Terran with melee units, it becomes very inefficient if you chase any further. So look at that. He didn't even get any more than one SCV. He's losing yet another hatchery. Dark just unable to expand to the corners of this map. And even though this was Dark's map pick, feels like Clem is a little bit more at home here. A single ghost in the top left does go down. Sean Bean apparently was cast in that role. For those who've never played on the Chinese server or watched the Chinese regionals, you definitely should check that out. If you guys want to hear dramatic voice acting, any Terran unit dying on the Chinese version of the game is one of the greatest sound effects you'll ever hear. It's basically a 46-second groan for even a single Marine dying. It's amazing. Clem is actually got this game, though. He's looking good. I think he's got this game in the bag. I say in the bag, then I remember he's playing Dark, and I'm like, oh, Burrowed Fungal Boys. Watching from the shadows, waiting for a big juicy. He doesn't want to show his hand just yet. I think he really wants Clem to bring a maxed out army forward. Clem barely misses the Infestor. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, if Clem brings a big army forward and he flanks it with Fungals, maybe even Neural's a ghost and EMP's the other ghosts, that would be huge. He could also maybe flank the tanks and Neural a few tanks. Stealing a few of your enemy's tanks can be game-changing. A few ghosts go down, but I don't think you can chase any more than that. Dark's on a mostly Zergling army, which is so agile, so high on the damage. Oh, we just saw one of the Burrowed Infestors. Dark shows his hand. Got a little bit too thirsty there after the Banelings being denied early, but Clem doesn't... he should be building turrets out here. He should really be building turrets out here. Look at this giant and spready of Infestors. Oh, juicy Fungals. I mean, that double drop does get completely shut down. You can't pick up when they're fungled. For those who don't know, that is why, of course, he didn't pick up their giant Infestor spready, man. Oh, looks like he scanned, but he didn't get that Infestor. He got one down here. He did not get that Infestor. It's still just waiting there in the shadows. I think they're still a bit too clumped up. I feel like they could get scanned at any moment. Oh, EMPs! One other ghost. I think he almost got the other, but then the scan goes down. I don't think that's the value you're looking for, mate. Liberator comes down to the bottom right as well. Clem has started to build a bank. He has got so much production. The Widow Mines get... Oh, one of them gets a good shot off. The other one does get sniped down. Where's the Broodlords? I mean, Broodlord Infestor can always make a comeback with the right control, but Dark doesn't have the money. He feels he's got to do it with Lingbane Ultra and a few Infestors. The Widow Mines get some silly hits, but a Fungal does land on the left side. A lot of that bio gets caught. Tanks rallying into their death. Clem, where is the rest of your army? Remember, he's got all of his tanks sieged on the left side of this map, not over here. This area may get breached. Looks like it will. Command Center and the Reactor Factory go down. Oh, sexy Fungals and a Parasitic Bomb. The Wombo combo is going to take out most of those air units. It might get both of the Liberators. He's onto the production. Triple Contaminate on a bunch of those buildings as well. Dark has breached the production. The tank gets some value. The other tank in the back and the bio rally might be able to stabilize. He's trying to rebuild his barracks already, is Clem. Clem has a lot of money in the bank, but dude, this is exactly what Dark needs to do to give himself a chance in this game. He was looking pretty much dead, but look at this. The rally of bio has not changed its path. His production's going to get broken. Oh man, luckily for him, there's nothing that shoots up for Dark, but he's going to have to rebuild all of these depots. Oh, this is a really good move for Dark. Dark was looking dead a few minutes ago. And then Clem sieges too many units in the middle of the map and the left side of the map. And now look at this. Dark's rotating back. He says, made you abandon your position. He catches the tanks on their own. Dark, what the hell? How does he keep himself alive in these games? It's multiple times where I'm like, oh, it looks like... I mean, to be fair, Clem was in this supply situation earlier and came back, but this time he doesn't have the production. His barracks have to float, land, build new add-ons. His factories have been all evicted. He can't build medevacs right now. He's only got 2 of those. He's got all the money in the world, but Dark now can calmly be like, I guess I go Broodlord Infestor. He's starting the Spire. Dark is legitimately realizing now that he's like, I think I just bought myself enough time to re-drone, expand to this whole bottom right corner, make Broodlord Infestor, and then play the late game. Now, for those who don't know, part of the reason why Dark's so scary in the late game is in the last year or 2, he learned how to play what he calls the most boring style in the world. He's like, yeah, the reason I'm so good at ZvZ now is I'm willing to just literally sit there and my only goal is to not die. And the other opponent will get really bored and frustrated and then I'll win. And that's like one of his main late game ZvZ strategies. And he started doing it in ZvT recently as well. And he literally will just make 30 Broodlords and he will use the Broodlords to attack creep tumors and just siege you from 1.5 screens away. In the meantime, he's got a very big mobile army for now though, so he's still going to try and siege and deny these bases. Planetary in the top left's going to get isolated. So it's kind of a dangerous move, but is it? Because look at this. If Clem moves up north, he will get sandwiched. If Clem moves up north, he gets sandwiched. Oh man. This might just be game winning because he gets 2 bases. Only about 10 SCVs, but a bunch of the depots, a bunch of the room. And look at, he's trying to set up a bit of a surround down here. He could get snipe punished, though. A few snipes go off. Nice pullbacks here. Parasitic bomb there. If he mass repaired, he could save it, but that's, of course, a very advanced maneuver. Trying to get some more snipes. You got to be careful, though, to not get surrounded. Remember, there's a lot of lings up to the top as well. The planetary, though, looking pretty good for Clem. Clem needs to spend the next 6 years building supply depots. It's always a really crappy feeling. Dark is just denying these bases. Wouldn't be surprised to see him just smash Banelings in at this point. He senses he's ahead, and so he might just want to go Massling Bane and just go for the win! Big pop-up on the underground. The Infestor lands. Big fungals. Those bio units getting hammered. Neurals on the right side as well. Steals 2 of Clem's tanks. Lings flood in from all sides. Banelings and Ultras on the north. They're going to go after the planetary, and Dark refuses to die. And he says, oh, I'm sorry. Were you winning this game? Lol. Just runs around the right side, cleans the production out, turns the game upside down, and he says, you always need to have insurance. You need to have extra planetaries and tanks on the right side. If you don't cover your production, I will always find a way back in the game. Dark dominates the group 4-0. What an absolute monster. He's through to the top 8.